Hey, this is Copperatus at Bennett's Military Supplies, and we got the new t-shirts that are going to be available first at Arctic Fox 3. Then they'll be available here if there's any left. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We want to talk about some game dynamics, so let's get to it. Arctic Fox 3 Operation Scorched Earth will be played at our Fort Boneyard property in Ward, Arkansas. This property is owned by an Arkansas airsoft outlaw who goes by the call sign T-Bone. He's a cool cat and he's a gracious host, so when you see him out on the field, be sure and tell him thank you for the use of the property. Keep in mind, MilSim players, that participation at our events is not a right, it's a privilege. These are private club events, and it's your own behavior that's going to determine whether you're invited back. So be considerate and kind to each other and play fair. Now, Boneyard's one of our smaller properties, and with 60 plus players out on the field, force on force trigger day type conflicts can get out of control. So the AF3 event is a MilSim operation. This is different than regular match play. Players are always expected to take orders from their group commander, or if your group is ordered to divide up for a mission, then you're going to abide by that team leader's orders for the duration of that mission. Going off mission to do your own thing, that's not allowed. Reports of this type of behavior will be investigated by the admins, and appropriate action is going to be taken, and that includes up to possible ejection from the game without a refund. And the basic rule set is available on the Facebook page. You can search Airsoft Corps, which is AIRSOFTCORPS, and that's going to be in the groups section of Facebook to find us. The rules and waivers are under the Files tab. Now, I'll point out that if you're under 18, use that minor waiver form, and you're going to need full face protection unless your parent or legal guardian has signed off on abiding by the over 18 rule set. So now on to game dynamics. First, let's talk about the Allied Force faction, or the Friendly Force. This faction is made up of Israel, U.S. Special Forces, and U.K. Special Forces players. The Forward Operating Base, or FOB, for the U.S. and U.K. groups will be the silos, and they're located at the southwest end of the playable area of the property. It's listed as item 1 there on your map that you can see. This is where you are going to come for your mission briefing or retasking, and you're also going to respawn here if you bleed out, if you're a UK or a US player. Now, the map, without all these things that you're going to see here in the video, just the main AO map is available on the Facebook page as well. Israel is the other friendly force group, and they are going to occupy the territory on the east end of the property. There's a newly built bridge that spans the creek in their AO, and their main base is a large blue tarped structure inside the wooded area. There will be travel between the friendly force groups, and it will be restricted to a couple of different entry points shown on the map there. We have neighbors that are close by, and we want to make sure we respect their property as well, so we're going to keep it limited to these areas for infill. It will be structured by the admins so that there's not any kind of camping the infill points and that sort of thing, so no need to worry about that kind of stuff. Now let's move on to the enemy force faction, or OP4. It will be comprised of Sudan, Iran, and Hezbollah. Sudan will be residing in the structures in the northwest section of the playable area. Iran will be housed in relatively close proximity to Israel, but that's okay because the political face for this op is that these two groups are trying to resolve things peaceably. Now, that's the surface of what's going on, the public face, but what's really happening, well, that's going to be played out through the scenario during the op. Let's just say I'm pretty sure there's going to be some shooting, and maybe some bombs around somewhere. We'll just see. Now, as far as Hezbollah, well, who knows where they are. They're kind of doing their own thing to an extent. Now, they will have to either be, for respawn and that type of thing, utilize either Sudan or Iran's base for that type of stuff. But other than that, they're going to be on their own little missions and things, and they're going to be kind of floating around. For the enemy players, it's going to all be about money, and it's all going to be about bombs and terrorist activities. So that's what they're about. That's what their missions are going to be about, and it's going to be the Friendly Force folks' job to thwart their attempts at these things. And Friendly Force folks, in addition to trying to kind of police and keep an eye on these terrorist activities and these transactions and deals that are going down on the enemy side, you're also going to be providing security for Israel and humanitarian aid. So there will be some transport involved. There will be all kinds of stuff like that, and these sneak and peek and trying to make some takedowns and arrests, or maybe just plain out taking some of these guys and eliminating them. But more on that here in a second. Okay, Friendly Force folks, here we go. We're going to lay this out. And of course, you see we're on a humanitarian aid and peacekeeping mission primarily. That's the public face, but there's this whole other thing going on in the background, and Special Forces guys are doing what they do best, and they're taking out bad guys. But your primary rules of engagement are fire when fired upon only. So unless your mission details dictate for completion or something, then you just keep that weapon secure. And somebody walking around that has a shouldered weapon or a weapon at their side, I should say, when they bring that weapon up and shoulder it, and aim it at somebody, then they're a threat. But unless they're a threat, just walking around toting a weapon, no, you can't just shoot those folks. That's a war crime. So you have rules. You're the Friendly Force faction. You got rules to abide by. Your missions will be given to you, and you'll be given a briefing, and they'll be controlled by the faction or the group commander, or your team commander if you're busted up into smaller teams from your main group to complete the task. So these will be gone over in detail prior to the mission execution, but the thing to remember is stay on mission, follow orders, do not do your own thing, fire when fired upon only, unless you're told to go hot and the mission success dictates. Some of these missions you're on will involve money and explosives and things that you're going to be able to seize if you catch these enemy players in a transaction, in a deal going down or something, passing these items. Anytime you find these items, you can collect them. They will be counted as part of your score. When you have those things at base, they cannot be taken back from you. They are off limits. So once you get it to your base, it's yours. Now, I hope you caught what I said. Once you get it to your base. Enough said. Now, for captives, during these missions, in order for you to take these items, the person that's carrying the items, you're going to have to take them as a prisoner with you back to your base. And so that'll definitely slow you down. But once you get to the base and your items are secured, you're not really interrogating those people or anything, so you just send them back to their base for a respawn. Now, all you really need to know about an EOD guy is, aside from on a mission where you're capturing a device, an explosive device or something, when they're making a trade, like money for a bomb or something, you don't need your EOD guy for that. But if you find one in place, that is set or something. You can't touch that. Only your EOD guy can touch that, your friendly force EOD guy. So you have to call in and get him to come disarm it, destroy it, whatever he's going to do. That's between the admins and the EOD guy. But you guys have to hold the area secure and call him in. For your respawn when you're on mission or on patrol or whatever it is, once you've left the FOB, then you have one medic. And the medic on your team can get to you, provide medical attention once. Now, once you're up and revived and you're hit again, that is an immediate 5-minute bleed out. You can't be rescued. You guys stay in place 5 minutes, and also travel back to the FOB for retasking, reassignment. Now, the enemy forces, as far as Iran goes, your foreign minister seems to feel that you're a victim of nuclear terrorism. So you're just out trying to do peaceful things with nuclear energy. So as far as that goes, you're a victim. Now, rules of engagement for enemy forces. What rules of engagement? What are you talking about? There are none. Y'all can do what you want. Y'all don't have to abide by fire when fired upon. This is your land, and you've got some enemy invaders that are roaming around some of your territory, and you've got people that you think that you want to eliminate, and what's going to stop you? There's no rules. So as far as engagement, now missions and all that kind of stuff, yeah, you got some rules. Now that'll be dictated to you. Where you can go and what you can and can't do and say and all that kind of stuff during the game. Now, captives, that's might have something to do with some of the stuff later on, but again, we can't reveal anything here. It's going to be briefed to you during the op. EOD, the admins are going to act as your EOD stuff. You might have some things that you're tasked with for individual missions, but again, that will be discussed during the op. Now, for respawn, you guys are actually unlimited on your medics. So you can be medic, but if you can't get medical attention, 5-minute bleed out and return to your base, or if you're Hezbollah, then whichever base that you were at last to check in and get your mission and all that stuff, return there and wait for your buddies and your next mission. So those are the basics, and if there's anything further, it's going to be posted on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. We may have some more details coming down the pike, so you want to be sure and catch all those. So subscribe today. We'll see you at Arctic Fox 3.